Morning, guys. Welcome in. Good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing? Hopefully everybody can hear me. Welcome in, guys. Happy Wednesday. Major market movements. We're going to talk about it. A lot to go over today. Welcome in. Welcome. 8:33. 500 people in here in the morning. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Carlos, Ronnie, Tony, Isaac, Native, Jalen. Good morning, guys. Yes, I made it sub only, so you can only talk if you're a subscriber, because that's going to weed out a lot of the bots. So that's the new thing we're going to do moving forward. It just weeds out a lot of the bots. Makes it much easier. And I can also read the chat better as well. Welcome in, guys. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody had a nice day yesterday's session. Really nice action yesterday. We're going to talk a lot about that. We'll talk about what's going on in the market today, obviously. We'll go over the market, what we can expect today's session, where the pullback longs come in, and where we should be sort of a little cautious of, right? Where we need to be cautious of today's session. And you guys probably already know where we are going to be cautious of. It's going to be that major supply above. So we're going to talk a lot about it today. We'll talk a lot about the long side plays, about where the market can potentially see some resistance, and where we can look for those pullback longs. How did Tesla have terrible earnings and go to 250? It's forward. It's forward looking, right? So everything is forward looking in the market, and Tesla is looking towards Musk stepping down from the government and going back into where his job is, right? Which is technically working for Tesla. So that's what's going on with Tesla. It's obviously forward looking. It's not about the earnings. It's actually about what their forecast is. And so that's why Tesla's moving up. We'll talk about it. We'll go over it. Guys, welcome in. We have 700 people on the stream this morning. Let's get started. So I want to dive right into everything today. I want to go right into, we have a lot to go over today. Obviously, we'll go over earnings reports, talk about econ data, but today's session, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about SPY. We're going to go over SPY, the major pullback longs. We'll talk about the major supply above 549 on SPY, 543 on SPY, 530 pullback long, 535 pullback long, and even 524 demand below. So very big levels below us on the SPY chart. We're going to talk about that going into today's session. We're also going to go over Qs. We'll talk about the QQQ. Potential breakout of a long-term trend here, right? You see a long-term trend here back from February the 21st. We are breaking above that trend line this morning. Does it actually result in upside today? We're going to go over it, and we'll look to see what we can do to sort of take advantage of this potential move. We'll go over the ES chart. We'll talk about the ES supply above, very similar to SPY, of course, the same thing. 5400 SPY or 5400 ES. We'll talk about the 5340 level here on the ES chart as well, which is that gap fill level. And we're also going to go over some individual tickers. We'll start off with Tesla. We'll go over Tesla post earnings. Tesla 260 and 240 demand. We'll go over Nvidia. Nvidia, probably one of the nicest looking charts here, holding a very big level 100 here. Nvidia. We'll go over Amazon. We'll talk about Amazon breaking above a major trend line as well. Also one of my top watches today. Does it result in any upside, right? We're going to talk about that 180 level. Very big reclaim on Amazon that we spoke about yesterday and is now happening in the pre-market session. So big chart here, and obviously we'll go over some other names too. We'll go over some names you guys are watching, but this is what we're going to be focusing on today off the gate. So yes, hit the like button if you guys can. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And we're gonna dive right into it. So on the economic docket for today's session is not really about the economic docket. You can see that we do have some data. We have PMI at 9:45. We have new home sales 10 o'clock, and you have some sprinkled in Fed speakers throughout the day. You have Alberto. I'm not gonna say his last name. Alberto and Beth speaking at the afternoon session. But in the morning, you just have PMI and new home sales. Okay, so PMI, probably expect some reaction to that. New home sales, also that's your first big red star of the week. This is the first red star of the entire week. So of course, be careful going into 10 o'clock data. I would expect some sort of market reaction to both of these data reports coming in this morning at 9:45. On the earnings reports, you can see that basically what's going on is market is reacting not only to positive news with Trump and China, right? Potential tensions being relieved, or basically it's foreshadowing that tensions are being relieved. But we're also seeing that there are some big names reporting. You have Tesla reporting earnings this morning or yesterday afternoon. Tesla, you had Enphase, you had Capital One, and this morning you have BA, AT&T, right? And tomorrow's session you have the airlines. So some pretty interesting names reporting, and obviously you have Tesla gapping up in the pre-market session, also in the after-hour session yesterday. So let's dive into it, guys. I want to jump into the charts. I want to spend as much time as we can talking about SPY. The first thing we're going to do is talk about what happened yesterday's session. So yesterday we spoke about one thing. We said if there's one level to watch, it's 520. 520 is a level. This was the decision-making chart yesterday. It was decision-making level yesterday was 520, just like it was on Monday, 520 breakdown. Well, on Tuesday, it was simply what? It was the inverse, okay? It was the precise inverse from Monday into Tuesday. Monday breaking down, Tuesday breaking out. You can see very clear action here, right? We broke above the 520 level at 935. It gave you an entry here at 940. If you missed the 940 entry, it very graciously gave us a second entry here on this red candle here at 945. This is where I got filled in SPY calls yesterday. At 945, I got filled in SPY calls, and I took it all the way from here at 940, from 520 to about 524 yesterday's session. That was a nice move yesterday, but if you look back at it, it actually worked out to be a very nice trade because it yet again gave you a secondary break and retest. So it gave you a breakout, pullback long retest here for upside. It also gave us a secondary retest, right? The first trade was obviously very nice. You can see back on that 15-minute time frame. On the 15-minute time frame, you can see it gave us that breakout, the pullback long retest, upside. But then it also gave us a secondary break and retest above the 524 level, which also was a critical zone yesterday. And that resulted in more upside back to the next level of supply, which was 530. 530 was a big level of resistance yesterday we also spoke about. So we broke above 520, we would see 524 and possibly 530, and we saw both those targets hit yesterday. Now today's session, here's the issue with today. Today's session, we are gapping up above 524, above 530, right, above 530, 529, and we are now approaching a colossal level here on the 1 hour time frame. If you zoom out in the 1 hour time frame, and just take a second to appreciate this chart in front of us, right? Just take a second to look at it, where you can see here, we have resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, and you have demand stepping up, obviously at 510. That was very important going into this week. So if you really focus on the two biggest channel high, channel low of this week, or of the last 2 weeks or so, it's been this. It's channel low here, 510, channel low here, 510, channel high here, 550, channel high here, 550. So what I would expect is I would expect the market to push into this next level here, 543 first, which is again that these highs over here from back on Tuesday, and then above 543, 550, 549, 550, but we still must respect this as a potential channel high. The real breakout, the real upside, the real juicer of a move is going to occur when this happens. When we see a break and retest of 549, this is going to be possibly the best possible long entry and an insane squeeze back into 576. I am not saying that we can't go long today. We can go long today, but I'm saying that we want to either go long today above 549, right, above the 549 level, which is, again, it's quite a ways away, or we want to be looking for a pullback long. We want to be looking for pullback longs today off the 530, pullback longs today off the 5. I would say that's really the only thing, right? Here's the thing. If the market's going to hold demand today, it has to hold 530. So the way to say this in the most precise way possible is respect the supply above us, because we're still, even though we're gapping up at the pre-market session, we're still underneath a very critical channel high here at 549. Yes, the upside was great yesterday. I even caught some of the upside yesterday, but it doesn't mean today's session we can go willy-nilly buying calls, buying long positions as we approach 543, which is a potential rejection spot, and more importantly, as we approach 549, which is another potential rejection spot. These are areas I am not watching for shorts, though. I'm just saying these are areas you want to not be long into, right? I don't know if we're going to reject off these zones yet, right? I think what we want to see is, if you want to look for rejections here, you want to see potentially a break and fade, or you want to see very clear wicking action coming in here and betas begin to flip, then look for shorts. I am not saying we should short, but I'm certainly saying we should not long into these areas yet. Where we should go long is right here. It's at ES 5400 or at 530 on SPY. ES 5400 is going to be equivalent to 535 SPY. So the first pullback long level is 535. What I'd watch out for today is 535 as support. Look for that for potential reversion play today. That's a good pullback long. The second pullback long and the best pullback long today is 530 to 529 on SPY. It is simply the gap. It is the high of yesterday's session. It is at Tuesday high right before the big breakout in the after hour session. So watch the 530, 529 demand as your big pullback long zone today. That's the optimal pullback long. If you're a fib trader today, if you're running fibs and you're on a fib from the low of that Monday session to the high where we're trading at right now, that 529 level is equivalent to the 38.2% retracement. So again, fib traders love it. Technical traders love it. And if you were watching the previous day high right before the breakout, what we should be looking for long side is retracement here, right? A retracement to our level, to our 530 as a pullback long today. That's your top watch for today's session. If we break under 530 today, I don't like longs at all, and I think we retrace back lower, and this is your best possible short. So if I'm watching for shorts, I'm focusing on a break and hold below 530. If I'm watching for longs, which I am watching for longs, I'm looking for a hold of 530. That's pretty much it that I'm watching today on the SPY chart. 535 still as support. You can look for that. It's more aggressive, but it certainly is a level to keep an eye out for today. And obviously, do not go long in a 543. Do not go long in a 549, right? Because again, these are going to be areas of potential resistance. This is so important. I want to say this because I know I'm not even looking at the chat right now. I'm looking at you guys right now. I'm not looking at the chat. The chat's over here. I already know people are going to say, Brett, can you short the resistance levels? Maybe you can, but not every resistance is a level you take short off of. Just like not every demand zone is a level you take longs off of. If the market's in an uptrend, we don't really want to be shorting resistance too much. You want to be longing demand, longing support. That's why today's session, even though we are kind of in a neutral state in the market where it's bouncing between channel low and channel high, it's still a neutral state where it's kind of unbiased. It's just sitting in sort of a neutral, not bull, not bear zone. But even though that's still the case, we want to see that there's actual confirmation off that resistance to go short. I cannot logically come to the stream this morning and say, guys, let's look for shorts off 543. Let's look for shorts off 549. If I were to do that, I'd be wrong because I don't know what's going to happen yet. What I would say though is absolutely look for the 530 demand bounce. That to me is a good trade today. But the supply rejections, it may be good, but we just don't know yet. We have to collect more data and see how the market responds to those levels, which then would tell us, hey, there is a trade here or there is not a trade there. But I can tell you this for sure, let's not be long back into these resistance zones, okay? That is what I want to say here on the SPY chart. Let's move on now to ES. So on the ES chart, it's simply this. It's so simple. Watch 5,400 as support. Logically, if we see us pull back to 5,400 today, you see us hold there, look for longs off 54. That's going to be a good long spot. Again, this would be the equivalent of looking for what? This would be the equivalent of SPY 535. 535, okay? So if you want to look for longs, watch the 535 level today. The secondary zone is again that previous day high right before the major market movement when the market got wind of Trump making a potential deal with China. And that is, again, 5339 on ES chart. If you want to round it up, make it 5340. So 5340 ES, which again would be 530 on SPY, is the secondary pullback long spot that I would certainly watch today. This is my highest conviction area today. Why? Because it's that same level from yesterday's session. So big level here on the SPY chart, on the ES chart. Let's watch and see if we can get there. I would say this though, there is a gap fill. There is obviously a gap fill under 5,400 for a move back here. If you want to be short, that is a short. I don't really dig it too much. I'm not really loving it. I think the best short though, if this happens, this is the optimal short. This is the moment you can say, wow, we can short everything with a ticker and we can look for a downside move. Again, not financial advice, but just my opinion. If we lose this level here, bulls are not going to be happy, right? Even myself, if I'm a bull today, I would not be happy if we lost this level because again, that's a major flip in the market. So if you're looking for a flip, this is your flip side short. If you're looking for longs, this is your long side. Hey, same level, right? No surprise there. Okay, so let's move on, guys. Let's go over the Qs chart. On the QQQ, this to me is perhaps more interesting than any level we've discussed on SPY. It is this 1 hour time frame here on the Qs. On the QQQ chart, you can see that we have a trend line. And I know many people are probably rolling their eyes when I talk about trend lines. I'm not a trend line trader. I'm a trend trader and a level trader, but I can look at this trend line and we can very reasonably say, look how beautiful this trend line is. You can say a high over here, a high over here, a high over here, a high over here, and a high over here. We have produced a very beautiful trend line here on the QQQ. And if you take a look at what's going on here on a 5-minute time frame and get a viewpoint here, well, the viewpoint's pretty simple. We are actually breaking above that trend line. 453 is arguably the area where the trend line holds strong, where the trend line holds above. And we are actually holding above it in the pre-market session. If you're watching for trades here in the Qs, I would watch for two things. I would watch for 453 as a technical long spot and a move higher, right? Look for this level today. And this should equate to about ES 5400. Kind of guessing here a little bit, but that's where it should equate to. The second level I'd watch out for today is going to be back that previous day high, right before the big news, which again is going to be where? It's going to be somewhere here at 447.50. So watching that today, watching 447.50, also watching to see if we can pull back long here at 453. So two potential longs here we're watching on the Qs. I'm watching both of them. Let's just see where we can pull back today and where we can set up our long side trades. Okay, so does this make sense? I hope everybody, I hope everyone understands what I'm saying here. I know this is not the most simple. I've been saying this over and over again. It's not the most simple of sessions, but if you come into today's session understanding our levels, you will do far better than you would be if you did not have the levels. Okay, so just like yesterday, right? Yesterday was all about 520, all about 520. Today is all about 530. Watch to see how we respond to 530. If we can pull back there, that to me is going to be probably the best trade today's session. Okay, so looking for that today as my main pullback long. Okay, so let's move on, guys. I want to move on. I want to talk about the first ticker of the day. Let's talk about Tesla. So for some reason, my trading view is being a little weird. It's like kind of lagging. I don't know why it's doing this. I'm gonna try to refresh it quickly. Actually, I shouldn't do that. If I do that, it's gonna mess everything up. But right now, for some reason, every time I click, it's keeping the cursor there. I don't know why it's doing that, but I think it's working now. We're good. Okay, we're good. So what I'd watch out for today. So Tesla obviously reported earnings. The earnings were not good from a fundamental financial standpoint. It was not good. It was a miss, right? If you look back at the actual miss, you can see almost a 34% beat on their earnings and a 9% miss on their earnings and a 9% miss on their revenues. So obviously financial is not strong here. But what was strong was the idea that Musk is stepping down, right? He's stepping down from governmental position, and that's obviously causing Tesla investors to be more forward-looking, focus on the forward-looking stuff here, and that's where we're seeing a little bit of a gap up. Again, I'm not a fundamental expert, I'm a technical expert, but if I were focusing on technicals today, I would watch to see if we can break above 260. 260 is your major resistance. You have resistance here, you have resistance here, you have resistance here. This is the level today. If we can break above 260, look for a aggressive break and retest and move higher back into 270. If you guys recall, we've been talking about 260 for probably 2 weeks now. It has not broken above 260 in 2 weeks. If it can break above 260, this would be a major reclaim, and you could look for a traditional break and retest upside play back into 270. But we can only watch for 270. The reason why I say this is because 270 is big resistance. Big resistance. This is if you guys remember, this is the graveyard zone. This is the no trade area, right? Why is it the no trade area? Because there's such choppiness between this 270 and 280 area. I do not want to be involved here. So if I'm trading long today in Tesla above 260, I am long only to 270, and I would leave this alone now. Why would I leave it alone? Because I expect a lot of games to be played here in this consolidation area. Again, you can see what I'm talking about, right? Lots of choppiness, lots of choppiness, lots of choppiness. If it can break 280, then it gets free flowing back into the daily 200 SMA, 290, and potentially beyond that. But as of right now, I would say focus on the 260. If you can break 260 first, look for the break and retest upside play back into 270. Likewise, if the market retraces today, the market pulls back today, let's just say SPY pulls back to that 530 level, and the market is sort of downtrending in the first 30 or 45 minutes of the session. We can also watch for pullback longs today in Tesla. What I would watch for on the pullback long side today is I'd watch for 240 for a pullback long. 240 is the only level I have here from yesterday's session that is of importance. So watching 240 as a pullback long, also watching 260 for a break and retest upside play back into highs. So again, pretty technical chart here, pretty clear chart, and we're going to move on. So I want to take a look. We have 1,300 people here this morning, and we have 387 likes. That's embarrassing, guys. Let's get that up to 500, please. Please, please, please. Yes, don't worry, April. Apri, we'll go over PLTR. We'll take a look at that towards the end of the stream. Okay, so let's move on. Nvidia. So actually, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's do Amazon first. I like Amazon first. Amazon. One of my main watches today actually is this Amazon chart. I like Amazon. The reason why I like Amazon is I'm watching two different things in Amazon. My main focus, though, is going to be looking for us to hold 180. If we can build a trend here above this little trend line, right? The trend line, the trend line, the trend line, the trend line, okay? And we are reclaiming above the 180 level. We spoke about this yesterday. We spoke about, what did we say yesterday in Amazon? We said initially we had a bear flag here in Amazon, and we said, hey, the bear flag has met its move, right? We said, you know what? This has technically been close enough to that bear side move, and we can now look at this for longs if we do what? If we reclaim 180. What's happened here pre-market? It's reclaimed 180. So naturally, what do you think we're going to say here? We're going to say, let's look to see if we can find a hold spot at 180. If Amazon can hold 180 today, this is going to be the best possible long entry. So what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for a pullback long today and a hold here at 180 for an upside play, right? And maybe it's not going to be so clean. Maybe you would expect this today. Maybe you expect a little pullback to that 177 area. 177 was that previous high before that major upside move in the after hour session. Maybe a little 177 pullback and a 180 reclaim. And the 180 reclaim is where I'm going to be looking for entries and an upside play, right? So looking for this today. If you want to be aggressive, you can look for the 180. If you want to be more conservative, you can watch the 177. If you want to be ultra conservative, wait for the 177 pullback, find support there, and the 180 reclaim, and that's going to be probably the top long entry today here in Amazon. I'm watching all three personally. Let's see what happens. But again, Amazon holding 180, breaking above trend line. This is a nice chart to watch out for. If Amazon loses 177, I am wrong. I have no idea what I'm talking about, and it goes back to zero. Okay, so this is the only way Amazon's strong is if it holds above 177. If it's above 177, it's strong. If it doesn't hold 177, this is not a bullish chart anymore, and we don't watch it for long side trades. Okay, so very important flip there. I want you guys to understand it's based upon, our bias is based upon technicals, not based upon some sort of illogical, me just throwing names around, right? So again, above 177 bullish, below 177 bearish, okay? So let's move on. I want to go over chips. We're going to talk about chips. We have Nvidia first, and we have 600 likes. Thank you guys for liking the stream. Much appreciated. So, yes, someone say it goes back to zero. You know, I should not be dramatic. Take a second here. If it breaks below 177, it goes back into 166. Okay, so let's not, you're right, absolutely should not be dramatic. It goes to 166, 165, 165.50. Okay, Nvidia. On the Nvidia chart, what's going on here? It's reclaiming 180. Sorry, it's reclaiming 100. Reclaiming 100. That's it. It's reclaiming 100. This is reclaiming 100. What can we do now? Well, there's two things we can watch out for here on Nvidia's chart. I'm still, my head is still on Amazon, right? But we are looking at Nvidia. So Nvidia, obviously you can see there's supply here at 106. You've seen it a few times. We've seen it a few times. You would have to be a little bit delusional today to say, I want to buy Nvidia calls right now. You'd have to be a little bit delusional, right? The reason why is because it hasn't broken 106, okay? Don't do it, right? Wait for it to break 106. If it does that, then look for long side. Or you can look for a pullback long here, 100. That would be a less delusional play and a nice potential reversion, right? So watching 106 break and retest, right? Or look for a pullback long 100. That's what I watch here today on Nvidia's chart. Again, nice looking chart, but let's not do the same thing over and over again, right? If you came into Wednesday session saying, I want a long Nvidia because we look strong. Sure, you got slapped off 106. If you woke up on Thursday's session and say, wow, Nvidia looks strong again, I want to long Nvidia again, slapped off 106 again. Now today's session, what's going on here? We're back at 106. Do not be delusional. Wait for it to claim 106. If it does, that's your long entry. Break, retest, upside play back into 110. 110, 110, 110, 110. This is a nice play here. Or look for a nice pullback long today, 100. That's a nice reversion play. So again, clean chart here, but let's wait to see if we can break above supply, right? AMD. On the AMD chart, watch 90, right? Pretty simple flip here. This is an important flip. Remember we were saying over and over and over and over again on AMD, if we're under 90, we're not looking for longs, right? It broke 90, failed it, broke 90, failed it. Now we're above 90 pre-market. If you're trading AMD today, you're probably trading off of the 90 level. If it holds 90, this should in theory move higher back into 97. That's my expectations today on the AMD chart. Again, is there a potential entry for you today? Your only entry that I can see here, a logical entry point, would be looking for holds off of 90. If it can hold there, look for a long play. And again, it has to hold. If it fails 90, look for shorts. If it's holding 90, look for longs. Pretty simple chart here in AMD, and very simple inflection point between it being bullish or bearish. Okay. Avgo chart. Avgo, the major supply is still 186. I would say this, you still don't want to be long Avgo until it does this. If it does that, that's your long spot. Until then, keep it on the back burner. Okay, let's move on. I want to go over some other names. Let's talk about the first. Let's go over PLTR. Let's mix it up a little bit. We'll do PLTR and we'll go over some other beta names. So PLTR first. PLTR's chart. Interesting flip here. Remember what we were talking about for a while. We said if 90 holds, it moves to 99. If 99 holds, we see it move back into 107. What's happening here on the PLTR chart? This is very early stage right now. This is extremely early stage, excuse me. But you can see 99, and 99 is turning to support pre-market. This could be a long today, right? If PLTR holds 99 today, this could be a very nice long opportunity today off the get-go. If it fails back below 99, this is not going to go anywhere, and it probably goes back into 90, right? That's where you'd expect it to go back to. But again, PLTR holding bullish, holding above a level this morning in the pre-market. That is interesting. I think we must take this as a hint. It's breaking above our level. Let's look to see if it can hold there. If it can, look for longs off the 99, okay? Next ticker of the day, let's go over Apple. Apple, 1 hour time frame here in Apple. 200 that's what everything's about here in Apple. It's about 200. 200, big technical support, right? If you're looking for a trade today in Apple, you're looking for this. You're looking for either a pullback long here, 200 for an upside play, or you are respecting the fact that there's still supply here at 210. 210. Do not be long into 210. Just like Nvidia 106, right? This could still be a potential rejection play here at that 210 level. So be cautious of that. Look for either a break and hold above 210, or look for a 200 break pullback long. That's what I watch out for. If you want to be aggressive today and you want to look for shorts, I mean, this is where you'd be doing it, right? You'd be watching to see if we can fail off 210. If you see a fade off 210, this could also be a short opportunity. So again, you can watch multiple sides here on the Apple chart. Watch the 210 for failures, or watch the 200 level for support. That's what I'd focus on today here on the Apple chart. Okay, right. Let's move on. Meta is about that 500 level. So if you go to Meta's chart, give it a second to load. TradingView is being a little bit slow this morning. Let's patiently wait here while this chart loads. I'm gonna read the chat. Ronnie, XLU, yeah, look at XLU, Uber, DLTR. We'll take a look at those tickers. But here on the Meta chart, it all comes down to 500, right? So 500 was a rejection spot yesterday. You can see we popped into 500. We failed off a few times. We broke. We held above it, and now we are cleanly above 500. On the 1 hour time frame, I think that we should be focusing now on the next level of resistance here of 537. If we can clear 537, you can look for an upside play back into 553. To me, I don't really see a potential play here though. I don't really see this is not screaming, hey, let's trade Meta today, right? I know you guys probably will still do it, but if I were to be trading this chart today, I would be watching to see if we can break above the 537, right? If it can clear 537, look for upside back into 584, okay? Let's move on. I want to go over tickers you guys are watching. Let's start off with DLTR. DLTR, You can spam your tickers in the chat. I'll go through as many as I can. Dollar Tree, holding above 80. Yes, we spoke about this yesterday. I believe it was either Monday or Tuesday we spoke about this. Dollar Tree, 80 holding. This is a hold spot now, right? I think that you can trust it, right? As long as this is above 80, you're looking for the gap fill back into 89 and potentially 94 and even potentially 104, right? So very big chart here. This is a big break here on the DLTR chart. So I would keep this on the watch, right? As long as this is above 80, you can be long in this chart, looking for a stop loss probably under 79, targeting back to 104. Okay, let's look at Uber. I said I'd go over Uber. Uber quickly, you can see Uber's in the massive channel. Channel low here is 61, channel high here 82. Respect the channel. That's it, right? Big level here. Google. On the Google chart, Google is probably my least favorite beta name. My least favorite beta name. The reason why is because I don't make money off Google. For whatever reason, I just don't. I can't really find many trades here on the Google chart. 147 demand, 161 supply. That's all I have here on the Google chart. I want to say your name properly. Oh, Susan. Susan, thank you very much, Susan. Thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. For some reason, I thought your name was like was a much longer name. I think it was just because there's no space there. But thank you very much, Susan, for the donation. Coinbase chart, 1 hour time frame. 200, right? Watch 200 today. That's your level. Okay, so you can see 200, 200, 200. We held support here at 147. I would now watch to see how we respond to 200. If we can break above 200, that's a potential long back into the daily 200 SMA, 227. But for now, we respect the supply above us. Do not be long into this red zone yet, right? It has to clear above 200. If you're watching Coinbase, you're probably watching Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? What's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin is breaking out of a massive wedge. I mean, if you're not, I'm not even really a big crypto person, right? But I mean, look at the chart here. I mean, this is a pretty clear chart. It's holding above a massive trend line, a massive little wedge breakout. This is interesting, right? So I would say as long as it's holding above that daily 200 SMA now, 88.5, I would look to see if this holds longs. So my camera just died. That's interesting. I think it's the first time it's ever done that. My camera is down. We are down. We have no camera right now. You guys can still hear me, I hope, but my camera is down. Let's move on. Let's go over the last ticker of the day. Let's go over Ford. Fancy, thank you so much, Fancy. It's very nice of you. Thank you very much. My camera is completely dead. That is so wild. Ford, on the Ford chart, daily time. That's a big donation, Fancy. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting. That's huge. Ford, on the Ford chart, watch the 7.0 level. If it can clear 7.0, that's your squeeze zone. Demand below 3.5. That's it. Channel high, channel low. Watch for this to clear 7.0. If it can clear 7.0, look for an upside back in the 10.0. That's it. 7.0 resistance, 10.0 major resistance. Guys, thank you all for joining in. I'm going to end it here. My camera is completely dead, so this is probably the best stopping point. I'll see you guys all for live trading. If you trade with us, bye guys.